Hello there. This is General Grievous, and you are watching the Cantina Club.
Scum and villainy, it's a wretched hive. But life ain't always teddy bears, fireworks, and high fives. The folks round here don't care for sand. Stick around long enough, you'll be lucky just to.
Hey everybody, and welcome to this year's edition of the Holiday Special. We promise it won't be near as good as the original one in 1978, but was it 78 or was it 77? I think it was 78.
78.
Had to be 78.
Yeah, it had to be 78.
Yeah,
All right.
78.
So we're gonna try and make it as good as we can to live up to the original. But we'll be right back and we'll show you how we do.
It's life day.
Take it away,
We'll
Greedo.
find a way. Take a holiday.
Especially written just for this
It's
episode and the one
life
before.
day.
And the one before that.
Find a way and take a holiday.
Listen, it's beautiful.
Special.
I all right. Okay. We're back. So basically, this episode, we're just going to talk about kind of some of our favorite things that we saw in 2021. And then forecast 2022, which is basically looking like, the chock full of Star Wars year coming up with all kinds of new shows coming our way on Disney Plus. So first of all, let me just kind of throw it out there, and I'll just throw the Bad Batch out there. What do we feel about Bad Batch? What was our takeaway from that? What did you guys think about that show overall? All 16 episodes. It was just like this massive season they dropped.
I really enjoyed it, and I'm still working my way through Clone Wars and through Rebels. And I think I told you the night on Bad Batch where they brought back the Gregor character.
Yeah. And you happen to be watching it at the same time.
Yes, I was watching that week.
That's so weird. What are the chances of that?
Yeah, and he appeared both
Out
in
of all the Clone Wars.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
then I turned off Clone Wars. I turned to Rebels,
Uh-huh.
and we have that scene where they encounter all the old stormtroopers out in the desert.
Right.
And one of them's like, "Is that dude, Gregor? Oh my god,
It's Gregor.
Like,
What are the
Gregor
chances?
is awesome.
That's so funny.
So I
love it.
met my favorite. I met my favorite clone trooper this
Yep.
year. So
He
that
cannot
was
be
cool.
surpassed, I hear.
No, he cannot. He cannot. I fell in love with Gregor. I'm looking forward to seeing him again. I hope.
Nice.
So
Cool.
maybe
Cool.
he'll return on future Bad Batch.
Yeah. What about you, Greedo?
I thought it was great, but it didn't leave a lasting impression with me really yet. But a good ensemble show of like three people, one guy being most of the ensemble, but that was what I thought was coolest about it. I really enjoyed it. The quality of animation was great, which was very encouraging to me.
Yeah.
That was what I was kind of concerned about, seeing them return to that form.
Mhm.
And but I will say, the one criticism that will stand for all the Disney stuff is that's the last magical child storyline I want to see for a while.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If possibly
Agreed.
ever.
Right.
I hope this isn't become the standard format. If
Yeah,
Boba
the
Fett
every
ends
show,
up
yeah.
having to babysit a kid of some kind with
Right.
powers, or a mysterious person with powers, it would be pretty.
Yeah.
But other than that, good. I don't even really remember the story. I don't think the story was that compelling or anything, but the show was good.
Yeah.
It just kind of bore some resemblances to the Mandalorian. Well, I've seen the Mandalorian, like almost the same exact overarching story, I guess. So
Right. Yeah. I mean, I loved it. Obviously everybody here knows my love for the Clone Wars, and this to me was just like a new season of the Clone Wars, basically. I love the fact that they're exploring that timeline now, which is the first time they've done that out of print, basically. Obviously I know that timeline's been discussed in comics and novels and things like that, but to see it, I want to see it hopefully coming up in live action. And I know we've had like Rogue One and stuff like that A New Hope stuff covered, but I'm talking about specifically like just following Order 66 and the transition of the Empire taking over the galaxy. I just think that time frame hasn't been as explored, and I'd love to see that, especially in live action and animation, like we're getting with Bad Batch. But yeah, overall, I loved it. I love the ensemble cast. I love the. I thought the characters were nuanced. You know, again, we've sung D. Bradley Baker's praises here many times, but just to be able to take his voice and have all these characters and just they're so nuanced by his voice changes that you don't even have to be watching the screen, when Clone is talking. So I love that about the show. I just love the storyline where it's going. And I know for a while there, I know this was one of Greedo's complaints, that it kind of got into that sort of rut of like mission of the week when they were with Sid in the bar, the Trandoshan who ran the bar. And it was just, well, go out here and I'll pay you some money, go out here and do this and I'll pay you some money. But fortunately, that only really locked in for about 3 or 4 episodes, and then it got out of it. So I like where they're taking it, and I'm anxious to see where we go in season 2 coming up, and which is one of the things we'll be talking about shortly here in 2022. But yeah, so to me, that definitely 2 big thumbs up for the show. I'm definitely excited about where it's going to go. Okay, so Star Wars Visions. What did everybody think about that? I know, Gundark, you said you haven't really quite made it through all of them at this point.
Yeah, I haven't made it. I think I've made it through 4 or 5. And then I got captured and sent back to the spice mines.
To the spice mines, yeah.
And then I escaped, but then I fell into a Sarlacc pit.
Oh, dang.
So yeah, I haven't been able to catch up yet. But what I saw,
Sarlacc
really,
has left
really
me
liked.
scarred.
Yeah, I'm
Deformed.
carried this card for quite a long time. But I really liked what I saw of it. I thought the opening one was a really good one to start with. I liked the kind of Kurosawa samurai cinema tribute,
And the lightsaber umbrella will be eternal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yes.
It was worth it for that.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I liked we were talking about this earlier, the one about the twins. That one was just so way over the top. It was really cool. It was fun to see people taking the Star Wars world and just playing with it.
Yeah.
Having fun.
That's what I liked about it. There were no rules. You weren't going into that thinking, oh, well, they've got to adhere to all of these criteria that we already know in canon and all this. Like, no, just do whatever you want and just theme it Star Wars. I loved that. I thought that was fantastic. Yeah, that was one unique thing about it.
I loved the show too. I mean, I like anime, I always have, and I like just art and animation, and so I thought it was cool. It's kind of like a lot of Western tropes and things that get reflected back through Japanese pop culture. Like, anytime you see a cross or Catholicism or priest or all these things that get filtered back, it's completely different than what you kind of would expect it to be. It's much more occultish and heavy-handed, and this was kind of that way. Like, the ideas were kind of going through a massive filter, and just like you said, they were free to do what they wanted. The only thing that I thought I would have liked to have seen different was that almost every episode, except maybe one, involved the Jedi or was about Jedi and Force powers.
Yeah.
And so it was almost like there was a mission statement of, let's do anime about the Force.
Right, specifically about Jedi. Yeah.
Yeah, it's somehow related to the Force, and I didn't expect that. So it kind of was like, it was almost like a mini series about the Force being interpreted. I loved the first episode with the umbrella, the lightsaber umbrella.
The duel.
I'm waiting for someone to play their lightsaber hilt like a flute, and that into a weapon. And then maybe that'll be the next series. I really liked the one with the robot kid, which is another.
Yeah, that was really good. I didn't know what to make of that one at first, but the more it went on, the more I really kind of got sucked into that one. I really enjoyed that.
It really had a good heart to it. Like, it was about purity and goodness, and that's something we don't. Everybody's always wanting anti-heroes, and even in Star Wars, they want to see dark. They want to see dark stuff, and I just thought it was cool to see them embracing a childlike, pure good mentality. And I loved the old man Jedi character in that. He was a cross between Geppetto and a Jedi. He was Geppetto with Force powers. And I liked the one with about the marriage or whatever that was. Where that was really cool, and again, it had a great message to it. And I also my favorite one was probably the Ninth Jedi, because it reminded me of a cross between kind of classic anime, Star Wars, and old school sci-fi like Lensman or something like that. Which, if anybody out there knows what Lensman is, you congratulations. I actually did an anime based on it a long time ago. But it was like almost like you're stepped in the middle of this serial format where there was a story before and after, but it wasn't the one we were used to. And I know it took liberties, like spoilers, but you know, the guys who are supposed to be Jedi, when they ignite their sabers, they're red because it reflects their souls or whatever.
Right.
You know? So I've always liked that idea, though, of if somebody falls to the dark side, maybe their crystal goes corrupt and their blade turns red instead of just building a red one. You know, like you can't hide your evil intent at a certain point. You know, you become just like the eyes become red, the blade becomes red. But anyway, I just thought that had the feeling of being set either in a far past or far future time, in the same universe. And it also made me want to see what happened next. Which, and I really liked the characters.
All right.
Okay. So Visions, I loved it. I hope they do more. And I will say one thing that's kind of unrelated. You know, I always go all over the place with my thoughts. There is a animated show on Netflix called Arcane. Have you guys seen any of the episodes of that? Not to get into our, you know, Cloud City stuff, but I would highly recommend it. And it's one that you can just put on for a few minutes and watch the animation style.
Okay.
I don't know the budget of it, but it looks incredible. And it's it comes from the video game League of Legends is what it's based on. So, you know, I guess that's big in certain markets, you know, overseas and stuff. But it was a big surprise to me, like, why would they do this incredible animation based on League of Legends? But I hope that someone, I know Lucasfilm has an established art style now with Clone Wars and, of course, Bad Batch. Those should stay the same. But I hope when they do, if they do more animated stuff, which I really, really hope they do, they maybe have a look at who did this series, Arcane, and because it's great character design, beautiful animation, and the writing and everything is fantastic on it, but that's a whole other thing. But I would love to see that kind of style, you know, because Lucasfilm can afford it. Of course, they're probably one of the few studios that can. So animation is more and more expensive, just like everything else. So anyway, in future, I'd love to see something like that. It's probably done in Korea or something, but I don't know. For a fact.
One episode that jumps out at me too that was so weird, and I'd love to get your guys' take on it, was I actually really ended up enjoying. It's another one was, like I said, when I first saw it, I was like, I don't know what to make of this, and the more I I kind of like this. It was just so weird and off the wall, especially for Star Wars, was Tatooine Rhapsody. Do you remember that one? Great. The one with the rock band and playing for Jabba and Bib Fortuna and all that.
I didn't like that one.
No.
That was the one that out of all of them.
And they even had Boba Fett in there.
I didn't really, a baby Boba Fett.
Chibi Boba Fett.
I know.
Chibi Boba Fett.
I mean, I know it was playing on, that kind of animation style, but I don't know. It kind of.
Yeah,
I thought it was great.
That's one of the few that actually went back and watched a second time. Yeah.
It didn't happen. You know, this is an alternate thing.
Right. It's all it's not canon. Yes.
If they can do Lego Star Wars, which is just an abomination, you know, to the actual concepts of Star Wars, it's funny, but it's an abomination. If you look at it, you'd be horrified if you try to take it seriously. Then they can do something like that, and it's an anime trope again of let's put a band together and conquer the world. And spiritually, they always have to try to spiritually change the world with their music, you know, in anime. So
they got too mid-May, like to me, I don't think mid-May.
Well, it was too short. It was too short. That was they had to rush. Like the song had to have the effect you wanted. There was no struggle. You know, they didn't have some struggle. But I love the fact that there was the bass player was Jabba Jr. or whatever. Yeah, exactly. It was very on the nose. Most of my life, it was very on the nose to have Jabba Jr. as the bass player. But he was a cool dude. He was an actual hut that you liked for once.
Right.
He was taking care of his friends. He wasn't selfish, you know.
Right.
He
wasn't a gangster.
A higher calling. He appreciated musicians. He didn't throw them to the rank.
Yeah. He wanted to play his music.
So I liked it when he apologized to his friends or whatever, and I just loved that character. So the Jedi subplot was completely unnecessary.
Agreed.
Just
Yeah.
thrown in there like that's what I said, it was too short.
Like they have to put a Jedi in there for some reason.
Yeah, just to try to make it Star Wars when you've already got Boba Fett and
yeah, you've already got the characters. We already know it's Star Wars. You don't have to
Boba
put a
Fett
Jedi in there to
tracking
beat us over the head with it.
Boba Fett tracking down a band is pretty badass.
Yeah, that was
That's
pretty funny.
cool.
It's a great concept. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, okay, so Visions I think was a hit. I enjoyed it. I would like Greedo said, I'd like to see more. Moving forward, I'd love to see more takes on just random, bits from the Star Wars universe. I think it's great. I love that stuff.
And I hope next time they go, they allow them to go even further, like some adult content, some anime stylized violence, and
sure.
They went pretty far with that, but I'd like to see them really take the restraints off.
Yeah.
Let them do what
Right.
they do. I don't want any Star Wars schoolgirl uniforms, but other than that,
no Star Wars schoolgirl uniforms. Thank you. Okay, so let's look forward to next year. We've got a lot of content coming forward. I'm going to go ahead and run down my prediction based on some rumors I've seen, and then some of the confirmations we've gotten from Lucasfilm about what I think the schedule is probably going to look like. So basically, we already know we've got Boba Fett starting on the 29th of December, coming up really quickly. That's going to run for seven episodes. I think after that, we're probably going to get Bad Batch season 2 after maybe a week or two break. Bad Batch season 2.
Quickly, huh?
Yeah, I think so. And then when that gets done, maybe even overlapping a hair, I think Star Wars Day, we're going to see the premiere of Obi-Wan. That's going to run. Make sense. Yeah, that's going to run for 6 episodes. When that's done, we may have a little bit of a gap, and then Andor will probably take us into late summer, we'll start late summer and take us into early fall, because that's actually a 12 episode show. And so that's going to run, for 3 months basically. And then from what all I'm hearing, we always assumed that Mandalorian season 3 was going to premiere end of fall 22, but now it's looking like they're pushing it to being in 23. So that may be January 23. That's my prediction, is going to be January 23. Because one of the reason people are saying that is because Disney released their sizzle reel for 22. And it had like all their little, clips from the shows, that are coming up for, not just Star Wars, but Marvel, everything. And Mandalorian 3 was not in there. So that's why people are now, it could have just been they just left it out, whatever, why they would leave it out, I don't know. But people are speculating at this point, well, maybe that just means because we've already got so much Star Wars content, they're just going to push it into maybe early 2023. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. So, all right. So just around the horn here, the one show you're looking forward to the most, Gundark.
Oh, Obi-Wan.
Okay.
Obi-Wan.
Greedo.
I've been waiting for Ewan McGregor Obi-Wan for ages.
Oh, absolutely. Okay,
mine would be season 3 of Mandalorian, but since it's probably not going to happen, it's definitely Obi-Wan. I always forget Andor is even there. And which is going to be cool because I have a feeling I'm going to love it.
And you probably have low expectations.
Yeah, I have no expectations, and I'm not even going to be compelled to look at spoilers or anything. I'm just going to enjoy it as a fresh new thing.
Right.
And I think it's going to be hopefully great.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think let's see what happens with Boba Fett, because it's another one that I didn't, it was sprung as a surprise. And with the people behind it, it could just be phenomenal. But I'm not trying to get too excited about it. I'm just going to enjoy what
I'm trying to keep my expectations down too, because right now they're kind of bubbling over. I'm not going to lie. I'm really looking forward to Boba Fett because of the way they're talking about it's going to look like. Even Ming-Na Wen in interviews was saying, this is more like The Godfather than it is a Western, because it's basically going to look. It looks to me like it's basically going to be a story of the chaos that has been going on for a few years since the power vacuum that exists now that Jabba's criminal empire is gone, and all these different factions trying to take it over, and then of course put Boba Fett into there and he's trying to take it over too. I think that's basically what we're going to look at in this show, and I think that's what Rodriguez is talking about when he says the show is going to over deliver. And we all know he's an action director, and all his episodes of Mandalorian are just wall to wall violence and action. So I have a feeling we're going to have a whole series of that. So I hope I'm Disney really looking forward to that.
Let him run loose a little bit, but we'll see.
Yeah.
My dread thing is filler and some kind of weird MacGuffin plot, like magical child type plot. I hope they keep it simple, mean, and cool, and they have everything they need. It's just whether they're creative enough to put those things together and make something we want to watch or not.
Yeah.
Right. From the trailers they released, you said simple, cool, and mean. It looked like it's going to be that way.
That's what I want to see.
I had not seen any of the trailers until you guys did your last episode where you looked at the trailers. Because I've tried to stay away from. I wasn't even really going to look at them until you guys decided to do that episode.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah.
And I've tried not to read anything about it, but the trailers look like that's exactly what I want it to be.
Yeah.
And they don't give away really anything.
No.
Yeah.
So thank God they learned that lesson.
Yeah, I think they've learned the lesson.
They're doing well.
And keep in mind too, they've also been, I know you guys don't keep track of it as much as I do, but they've been releasing teasers every single day this past week, a little like 20 to 30-second clips, but and each clip will only show like maybe 1 or 2 little lines of dialogue that you haven't seen before, or one little clip. However, keep in mind, this is also kind of good news for those of you who don't want spoilers. Rodriguez has said that all the stuff you're seeing in these trailers that are coming out is like the first half of the first episode. It's like you're not seeing spoilers all throughout the series. It's like he said, we literally cannot show you anything beyond that because it would just be too spoilery and too mind-blowing.
Well, the way the internet works now, people would sleuth everything about it. If you put stuff from across the whole series in the last episode, people would compare the outfits. They would look at the settings. They would, they would do everything and figure
exactly.
Group it to pieces, and it'd be no fun. So.
And I don't know if you guys heard this, but the episodes are going to be longer. They're running longer than Mando, because as we know, the Mando episodes tend to run between 30 to 42 minutes long. These are basically going to be, these are going to be running. They're saying between 45 and 50 minutes long each.
Nice.
Yeah, so we will get
basically
longer episodes.
An hour without commercials.
Right, it's like an hour when you take commercials out. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. So that's basically really looking forward to Boba Fett. So I guess my choice would be Boba Fett as my most anticipated, but with a very close second being Obi-Wan Kenobi series.
I do have a question for you guys. Are we tired of Tatooine yet? Because evidently we're going to get a year-long.
We're getting a whole year of Tatooine.
Tatooine fest.
I'm tired of Tatooine. I would have thought I'd be tired of it by now, but the stuff they've been doing, like in Mando, was so good that.
It's how they're handling it. Yeah. If it was just the same old moisture farm stuff, it would be like, okay, let's move on.
We'd be ready to leave like Luke was.
But they're expanding basically everything that we've known about Tatooine, I think, and they're showing us all new areas and new stuff that's going on there, so it keeps it interesting. That's what I like about it. So the setting, kind of like we always say on the show, it's like story is what matters.
Right.
It doesn't matter what setting it takes place in. As long as it's a compelling story, I'm in.
The setting is more for art and to compelling visuals and all of that.
Exactly. About the Boba Fett show, it was sprung on us as a surprise, as you said, and so I haven't had as much anticipation for it. Also, because when we were reviewing Mando, we talked about how it kind of embodied the Star Wars show that we wanted to see when we were kids about Boba Fett. So it's almost like that's kind of already been done for me, with the Mando series.
Yeah, they even built each piece of the suit slowly over episodes and showed you how they all work.
This looks like it's going to go in like a very different direction than Mando did. So it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. We've seen. So I'm hoping it will stick with the underworld stuff and that it will be.
You think about it. There's a lot of twists they could do, because this appears to be Boba Fett stepping out on his own instead of being a lackey and becoming his own man. But he's been a lackey his whole life. What if he still is? There's all kinds of. I gotta cover that part of the screen. There's all kinds of possibilities as far as what they could reveal, and how they could link this to other things and stuff like that. Which I won't care either way as long as they do a good job. But I do think there will be some world building where you won't, even though the whole show might be on Tatooine, maybe you won't. Maybe they'll have other connections, besides that. And the Tatooine could have a lot of secrets. It's a big, desolate world.
Yeah.
There's a lot that could be going on there. So not to make it too much like Dune, but it was inspired by Dune.
Yeah.
I'm shocked that the Borgullet, though, in the last episode predicted that we're not going to see how Boba Fett, how he got out of the Sarlacc pit,
Right.
whatever part of his life on Tatooine we're not
Mhm.
going to see. And like, okay, Borgullet,
Yeah.
even though he knows the truth,
Borgullet.
I don't think he necessarily
Well, he doesn't- I mean-
tells the truth.
Well, no, the thing is, he can sometimes be misleading because he wants us to figure things out for ourselves.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
he doesn't want to do all our thinking for us. You know,
Okay.
he's encouraging us to
So
think
he
outside the
encourages
box.
critical
and-
thinking.
yeah, he's all about critical thinking. You know the Borgullet. Come on.
I almost hope they don't go there with all that stuff. I think I said it in the episode because
Mhm.
after Solo, I don't want to see everything that's been a mystery explained. It takes away. It really, it just makes it where you can no longer speculate or imagine it. You just see it for what it was, and
I'd
I'd rather have it left alone.
I am able to sleep at night now that I know where the dice came from.
Yes, yeah.
I literally didn't sleep for decades because I wanted to know where those dice came from. Now I know, and I can sleep at night.
And it makes total sense that one of Luke's last acts was to hand Kira's dice to Leia
Absolutely.
as a memorial to Han.
I mean, that's the meaning of Star Wars. That pair of dice right there. All right. So let's move on to Bad Batch Season 2. What are our expectations and what are we looking forward to there? Anything, or do we have any expectations? Or
More Gregor. That's
more Gregor.
I want Gregor. to come
I think we're
back.
just gonna. I think if Gundark was in charge, we would just have the Gregor series.
Gregor would have his little sideshow. Yeah.
Go,
Gregor.
go, Gregor.
Good, Gregor.
I hope they don't just rehash season 1 as far as the war between the clones.
Mhm.
I hope there's some new wrinkle there where I hope they find a use for Deadshot or whatever his name was.
Yeah.
What was his name? The bad guy. I hope they find I hope they find a good path for him to go that isn't just butting heads with
Yeah.
Rambo.
Yeah, you're talking about
Yeah.
Crosshair.
And McGregor is now
And
spoiled my whole brain for
Yeah.
Gregor.
who's the Rambo clone? Clone number
Hunter.
76. Hunter, yeah.
Or Hunter.
Hunter. I hope it's not just Hunter and Deadshot.
Crosshair.
Crosshair has no hair. What's up with that? There's not actually two to cross.
I know one thing that we're probably going to get based on some of the art they've released from the episode is we're getting a new prosthetic for Echo. An arm, because right now he just kind of has
Not
that
a
weird
big
utility,
screwdriver.
like a screwdriver arm. Yeah, he had some of the new stills that have come out for it actually have him with like a mechanical, or like a full human-looking mechanical arm. So that'll be different. But expectations for me, I mean,
Showing
yeah,
on the power cables.
I agree. Oh yeah. I don't want them to rehash season 1. There's no point in that, and I don't have any reason to believe they will. I want them to, figure out a new thing for Crosshair, based on the way they ended season 1. With they were trying to invite him back into the fold, and he still refused and said he wanted to go back to the Empire. Obviously, there's still going to be some cause for animosity there going forward. But yeah, I do hope they lean the story in a different direction coming up, which I think they will. Filoni's never let us down, so I'm looking forward to what he's going to do in season 2. But I love the show, so I'm just kind of wide open with wherever they take it at this point.
Yeah.
And I'll be interested to see if they
Same
keep
here.
up the whole 16 episode thing, because I was really shocked to see that there were that many episodes in season 1, including that opening episode that, if you remember, was an hour and a half long.
Yeah.
Which was almost like a feature length animated film for the first episode, plus 15 additional episodes beyond that. So it'll be interesting to see if they do that, or if they cut it back down to like a standard kind of series like they're doing now, of like 8 to 10 episodes. But yeah, that's basically all I'm looking forward to on a Bad Batch. Is just really more of the same, just with a new direction. So
Yeah.
okay, so Obi-Wan, I'm gonna turn the tables over to all the floor over to Gundark, since I know she's eagerly awaiting some Ewan McGregor.
I've been wanting to see more of Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan since the prequels, since he was one of the few good things about the prequels to me.
He had
And
the
I
most
can't.
screen time in the prequels. So
Yeah,
what was not
and
good
I
enough for
can't
you?
believe it's taken this long for them to get to,
Yeah.
and that it sounded like it almost didn't happen.
Have you kept
So-
up with his? Have you kept up with his theatrical releases lately? I'm not surprised it took this long. I think it hit at just the right time for him.
Yeah.
But I really don't. I don't have any expectations like storyline wise or anything like that. I just want to see him as Obi-Wan. I just want
Yeah.
to see that again. I don't really want to know anything more about it. I don't want to give it away. And I haven't seen all the rest of Clone Wars yet, so I don't know how Obi-Wan's story in Clone Wars is going to feed into that too. So I need to finish Clone Wars before the Obi-Wan series comes out. But yeah, I'm really I would be looking forward to Mandalorian the most, like Greedo said. But if it's going to be put off until next year, then definitely Obi-Wan is the series that I'm most anticipating.
I mean, technically speaking, though, Revenge of the Sith happens after the Clone Wars, so.
Oh yeah, okay.
You know, so technically you've seen
right in between.
Yeah, you've taken because Clone Wars.
Really,
but there's a lot of stuff.
The final season overlaps with Revenge of the Sith a little bit too. So
yeah, but there was a lot of backstory for Obi-Wan.
But I'm talking about Obi-Wan's storyline isn't necessarily affected, and I'm trying to avoid any kind of spoilers here. I just don't want to know.
It's
more, watched it
it's
yet,
more about if Ahsoka has a part in any of this, which you know, it's weird to say, but she could show up in the Obi-Wan series.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no reason why they may not contact each other or something.
Right.
So I would almost, watching Clone Wars, I'd think about watching the last season after a certain episode number and just get that last storyline in that interconnects with Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, the final 4 episodes, I think.
Yeah, just in case, because there's stuff there about that does impact things going forward, possibly.
Well,
and you
when
would just
will
want to
the
be caught up
Ahsoka
on.
series come out? Is there a
The
date
Ahsoka series is looking at 23.
Okay.
Yeah, that's going to be one of the ones coming out.
It'll probably be take the place of the Obi-Wan series in the summer, or
because I believe they said they're going to start filming in May of 22 for Ahsoka. Because they're currently doing casting, and we're getting updates periodically about different characters that are going to be appearing and who they've cast for those roles, and they're going to start shooting in May of 22.
Yeah.
For a 23 release.
What are you thinking about Obi-Wan?
I just hope they don't screw it up. Just don't screw it up.
Too.
The prequels, if they model it after the prequels as a sequel to the prequels, that is its own thing. And that could be really different, and I may not like it. Because if you just filmed a new part of the prequels today, that doesn't mean it'd be something that would appeal to me. I might think it's too crazy, it goes too far, whatever. But if they give it its own self-contained movie feel and cinematography, and they bring all that to bear, and they do just a good story with the characters, it's a chance to elevate a lot of the prequel madness into something with a little more meaning and poignancy. I don't know if they'll go that direction or not, but I've always wanted to see a little more depth of these relationships that spent so much time together, and the whole exploration of the mentor and the student relationships, and substitute family and all that. I don't want them to go too far into that, because I don't necessarily think of them as, even though Obi-Wan said, "You were my brother,"
right.
He came out and established that dynamic by saying it out loud. But I don't want, again, it's something that you could mess up the whole thing so easily, that it almost needs to be like an alternate universe, like Obi-Wan needs to wake up at the end of it, it was just a dream or something. Because I was really shocked when they brought Hayden Christensen. I can't imagine what they're going to do with Hayden Christensen and why he's there. I almost think they're going to use a little de-aging and makeup and stuff and give us some flashbacks.
I agree.
That fill in some gaps. I don't know that they're going to interact in real time. And if Vader's around, what are you going to do? Just put him in the scarred makeup? And
I think they're going to do that too, actually. I really think they're going to do that too. I think they're going to at least give us a scene of Hayden actually in the armor without the helmet
Yeah.
on, whether it's
Yeah.
whether he's getting a back to treatment or whatever it is. I think we're
Well,
going to see
any clash they have is going to have to. It's going to have so much weight behind it to live up to, and it's also could be a rehash of what we saw in Rebels, and with Ahsoka and Vader and all that.
Yeah.
You know, if they have it part of the helmet come off, you know, like in a fight, you see Hayden in there or something.
Right.
That's already.
I don't think we'd see that. I think for that very reason, because it would literally be just redoing what happened in Rebels, and that
I just think that's one of the most powerful scenes in the prequels, if not the most powerful, and in the whole saga, is that final scene between those two. And so you almost like leave it there. You know, like how can you top that without spoiling it? But these guys are more mature. They've got the best writers to choose from, and maybe they'll. I just, you know, and is George Lucas involved? Like, is he okay with these characters meeting again? You know what I mean?
Right.
This matters to me, believe it or not. You know, those are his characters. You know, and that was he structured it a certain way, which I don't always, you know, like everything he does, but does he want more? You know, which I guess, you know, McClunky.
True.
What if they just have a psychic bond and Vader is like Obi-Wan McClunky? McClunky, and then
No.
I think so.
Now you die. But I think in 22 could be a big year for sand, and a big year for sand. People.
I think it's going to be a very big year for sand.
Big year for
It's a big year for Tusken
definitely.
Raiders.
Yeah.
And maybe the whole Tusken thing will finally be explained. And let's just strip Star Wars of every secret and just lay everything bare, like sandblast. Just sandblast the whole thing and just
let's
lay
go
it
ahead
bare.
and make a prediction here. How many binary sunsets are we going to get in Obi-Wan and
Oh,
Boba Fett combined?
Now they're going to double down. It's like there's a sun behind the sun.
Oh,
that will, at certain times comes out.
We're going to have the trinary suns.
Yeah, they'll be quintuple.
Oh, I love it. Okay. All right. So Obi-Wan, yeah, I think that's definitely the consensus most anticipated show from all of us.
Is it 6 episodes? Is that right?
6 episodes, yeah.
So
and from what I understand, that's just all contained, 1 season, 6 episodes done.
At most, if they broke mold, made it an hour long, we're talking 6 hours.
Right.
You can do a lot in 6 hours.
Sure.
They have a lot established already. So they don't have to spend a whole lot of time establishing.
Don't have to do a lot of backstory. Yep.
Yeah.
So this could be epic and bring in a ton of characters, or it could live up to its name and just be Obi-Wan, you know, and that was just what I always expect it to be. But when you think about it, it's certainly is tempting to put a lot of extra stuff in there.
Yeah, it is.
You know.
Okay, Andor. Probably the least anticipated by all of us. It's honestly the show I keep forgetting about, kind of like Greedo said. I keep like, oh yeah, right, I forgot they're working on that. But I'm looking forward to it. Just again, not giving any spoilers of just some of the stuff I've heard about it, is that it's basically going to be it's being shot as like a spy type show, like a spy thriller, kind of the covert actions of Cassian Andor, you know, spying on the Empire and, you know, making his bones, as it were, in the fledgling, you know, Rebel Alliance. We've got 12 episodes, like I said, and they're also talking about, basically from what I hear from the showrunners and the people involved, that they're looking at that they've literally got the whole story planned out, and it's actually going to take place over 3 seasons. And that's it, like a 3-season show, and then it's done, kind of thing. So originally they talked about it was also going to be a limited, like a 1-season thing, but now they're saying, and in one slight spoiler, we already know that Alan Tudyk's not going to be in, you know, there's no K2SO in this season, but they've now said that there's a good chance he could be coming back for seasons 2 and 3. Yeah. So that would be great, because that's, you know,
Alan Tudyk's one of the busiest actors in the
Star Wars. And they said that's one of the reasons why, is because his schedule was
so.
They originally wrote in parts for K2SO, but when they realized he couldn't do it, they literally went back and wrote those parts out, because they weren't going to recast.
We're not.
Yeah, they weren't going to recast
it.
Exactly.
Better to wait than have a fake 2SO.
Right, fake
Whatever,
2SO.
or K1SO or whatever. Queso. Let's call it close to queso,
Queso.
which is too on the nose for
very
Cassian
cheesy.
Diego Luna.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think, and from what I understand, they're really trying to go to recreate that whole Rogue One feel for the show, with the aesthetics and the
But you
very
notice no Gareth Edwards involved.
no, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's interesting too. That I don't know if you guys heard that he came out recently and said that he has no intentions of ever doing another Star Wars movie. Yeah, I don't know what the real
In other
reason.
words, there are no offers forthcoming.
Right, but which is a shame because he was amazing. In my opinion, it's the best film that's come out in the Disney era by far. So.
Isn't Gilroy the guy who directed all the pickup scenes and stuff? Isn't he attached to the series?
Yeah, he is.
Well, there you go. That just shows you who they, in their minds, who they gave credit for it being good.
Probably so.
They didn't.
Probably
we weren't there. We don't know. But
yeah, right. But anyway, so that's but yeah, I'm looking for what about you guys? What are your hopes and expectations for Andor, or do you have any at all?
I've been looking forward to that one since I heard that they were going to do it, but that seems like ages ago.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I didn't realize, but yeah, they started talking about this show in 2018.
Yeah.
So it's been 3 years that they've been talking about this show's coming. So we've had a few years to kind of think about it.
2016. It's almost like
2015.
15. Yeah, 15. Yep. So wow, yeah, it's almost like they missed their window a little bit.
Yeah. I wish it could have come a little earlier. But like you guys said, I thought Rogue One was the best of the new Star Wars movies. Yeah. And I really liked Diego Luna in that film, and I loved him in Narcos Mexico. And I thought maybe that was why the series was delayed, because the work he was doing on that series. I don't know why, if that was the case, but he did such a wonderful job on that series.
It's too bad they couldn't get Riz Ahmed involved somehow. I know it would be impossible, but he's become such a hot actor and frankly, great actor. He's really, really good. But anyway, no, I think if they, everybody, well, not everybody, but the forced diversity thing was a big controversy with Rogue One, which I never had a problem with.
I didn't have a problem with it at all. It was a great cast.
I mean, I don't care if you're trying to appeal to the Chinese market with Donnie Yen. You're appealing to me with Donnie Yen.
You're appealing to me too. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I love Donnie Yen.
I love it.
So I have no problem whatsoever with that.
Yeah,
just seems smart to me and a good choice. But I am looking forward to this possibly being more of a diverse show maybe or something, and just doing some different things. And I'm just going to remain open and have a good time with it, and I hope it just doesn't plod and full of filler. And to do a spy show in the Star Wars setting, Star Wars is so basic with its stuff, it's going to be real interesting to see what they do and how they approach technology in the Star Wars universe, because spies always have technology and everything. Right. Will he be like a James Bond? Will he be more like a hitman? Will it be like the Cold War? That kind of thing. Yeah. But there's always great possibility for great characters and drama and melodrama and stuff. So it just depends on the tone of the show, and the setting is great because you've got that galactic civil war era, which is always fun to look at.
Yeah, absolutely.
It has the familiarity of things we love, and so again, I don't know where they're going with it. Whether it could be set on a whole new planet, and the Imperials may not be involved that much at all. He may be doing something else. They could show more of his origin. That could be a big part of the story, because he implied some things in Rogue One about his character and how long he's been in the fight.
6 years old.
It could tie in the Clone Wars and the Separatists and all this, and so it's interesting.
And I think one big thing that they've done with that character that basically throws the door wide open for anything to be expected was the scene from Rogue One when he kills basically one of his own
Yeah.
guys, you know, because he's afraid that they're going to get caught if he doesn't get rid of him.
And he's done this before.
That's the thing. Yeah, and it's not the first time. Yeah, so
Right.
we could get anything with this show, you know.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be interesting to kind of see where that goes.
And he could have been the one on the block to have that done to him at some point, but he turned the tables.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, you know what I mean? It depends on how dark they want to go with it.
Right.
But yeah, if it's more realistic and cool like that, I'm all for it. And I do hope, even though they're setting it in a familiar setting, I hope they go back to some world building with Star Wars, because Star Wars desperately needs it. You know, we're getting
Agreed.
a lot of stuff on one planet, on just a few planets.
Well, I think the Andor show is going to lean towards planet hopping, as it were. You know, I don't think it's definitely not a show that, I mean, if it's a spy thriller and it's you know, dealing with the Galactic Civil War, it's not going to be, well, let's just focus on Tatooine. You know, it's not going to be a Tatooine planet. We probably won't even see Tatooine in the show. I have a feeling it's going to be a lot of him just kind of going here, going there, you know, with all these different missions or whatever for, you know, I mean, if we get, if nothing else, we might get a lot more Yavin 4. You know, you know, that might be the base of operations. You know, maybe he's, you know, launching out of there.
Get the origin of that or something. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. About why and how they decided to use.
Maybe we'll finally get the Dantooine base.
Oh, I know, that would be fantastic. I would love to see that. I've always been fascinated with Dantooine, as we know.
but with spy stories and stuff, I do wonder, with how shady the rebellion was, I wonder if the bad guy will be in his like in his backyard, like if it'll be a figure he's taking orders from, or you know, if it'll be that jaded,
like a mole, basically. Yeah.
Well, either a mole or actually the people in charge. You know, like someone in charge.
I see what you're saying.
Who's misusing power. You know, because that's what happens with all spies and all spy stories. Is there's ends up being very little to no justification for it until you run into something like the Death Star. You know, and then it becomes necessary. But so anyway, I just wonder about that. Like, how postmodern, how modern will they go with it? It'd be very easy for them to set it. What was the classic spy thriller with had Alec Guinness in it, and then they did the remake.
Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
Yeah, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
Yeah, it'd be very easy to just base it a 3-season arc on that kind of thing, you know. But they obviously have to have more hands-on action and adventure than that, I would think. But
yeah, you would think.
Anyway,
any more thoughts, Gundark, on Andor?
I'm just excited for it, and I have been for a long time. I was afraid that they were actually not going to do it because I didn't hear anything about it for such a long period. So but like you, I'm kind of keeping my expectations.
It's already been shot, a lot of it. So
they
can't cancel it now.
No, they've completed principal photography. Yeah, they've done that. They're just in post production now. Yeah. It's but like I said, it's.
Go ahead.
No, they're definitely premiering late summer, early fall. So it was on the sizzle reel and everything. So
I was going to say that's the other thing that's intriguing to me, but not necessarily the best way about Lucasfilm in the future is some of these projects dropping like flies, and the history of behind the scenes turmoil on almost every project that they've done.
That is correct.
Back to at least Rogue One, and then maybe even like. Rise of Skywalker, the original director, being fired on that. It just makes me wonder about the future, and hopefully everything is well planned, well executed, and we get great stuff.
I agree.
They've been on a roll lately, which they needed to be on, and I'm just going to enjoy it, and I'm not going to freak out if something comes out and isn't what I wanted it to be. The one with the most stakes is Obi-Wan. They really got to knock that out of the park, or at least make it have some great moments in it. And but if it goes in some weird direction that it really turns people off, it'll be hard to
recover from it.
That's true.
That might
Very
be
true.
Might be a bad thing. So might see more turmoil. and that turmoil has already touched that show, and so we don't really know the result. But look at Rogue One; there was a lot of turmoil there, and we loved that movie. So anyway. That's interesting to me going forward.
I know I've said it 100 times on the show, but I'm just glad that so much of this is in the hands of Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. You know, I really hate to think of where the Star Wars universe might be right now without them, because I'm having a feeling that all we'd be getting right now is more sequel trilogy quality content. And yeah, I'd be disavowing Star Wars. But
faster, more intense.
yeah,
it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Exactly. So yeah, so I mean, that's you know, I think 2022 is going to be a pretty intense year for us Star Wars fans. I think we're going to get a lot of great content, and I mean, hopefully it's great. It's going to be a lot of content either way. So we're hoping it is. Any final thoughts for you, Gundark?
One more thing about the Obi-Wan series. Who is the showrunner for that?
That is a great question. Let me look that up real quick.
Is it still, didn't they say it was the woman who directed one of the episodes of The Mandalorian, the
Deborah
street fight
Chow,
with
I think is her name.
Deborah Chow.
Yes.
I think you might be right. Let me verify that.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
But also when you mentioned Dave Filoni.
Yeah, Deborah Chow is the showrunner for that.
Okay. Yep. Well, that's cool because that was a really good episode she did for Mandalorian. But when you talk about Dave Filoni's involvement, I think about that scene from the Star Wars or the Disney Star Wars Gallery, where he gave his own assessment of the prequels at that round table of all these other directors for Mandalorian, and everyone was floored.
Just absolutely floored.
The emotional content he worked into the prequels and the relationship like between Obi-Wan and Anakin. And I thought, wow, if he's involved in Obi-Wan, maybe he can bring that kind of emotional grounding to it. So
it's almost like it's almost like Lucas almost finally had someone eloquent and fluent enough in English to speak for him.
Right.
To speak his
Exactly.
thoughts, you know, because Rick McCallum was the guy, and you know, and Lucas many times, you know, that kind of I think he's a better communicator than people give him credit for, but it's like the ideas that we wanted to hear about is what he vocalized there, that I'm sure in Lucas's head, but Lucas tends to go on about the minutia of things that a lot of times that we aren't really that interested in. Well,
you bring up a great point, because I think that a lot of the reasons why Filoni, you know, I mean, we all know he gets it. You know, he gets Star Wars, he understands what it's supposed to be about, and he's able to produce content accordingly. But I think that comes from the fact of the mentorship he had with Lucas. You know, when Lucas took him under his wing and was there literally side by side with him throughout the first, you know, few years of the Clone Wars, and they worked up story ideas, and, you know, eventually I think it was one of those kind of things where he slowly got more hands off and realized, okay, yeah, Filoni's got this, you know, and then it turned into like a once a week thing, and then basically just run the ideas by me when you get them. And then, you know, finally he was just like, just run with it, you know, because he realized that Filoni got it. And I think that's just my point, was just that you brought up a good point, both of you, that Lucas being a part of basically being the mentor to Filoni is what's creating this great content right now. So I think that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah. And it's just, he, like you said, he gets it for the most part, and he seems thoughtful. And incorporating a lot of stuff. And also he doesn't seem to be married to his vision or ideas to the exclusion of all else, which is unlike Lucas a little bit, and is unlike a lot of the people.
That's a good point too. Lucas seems to kind of be tunnel vision on his ideas.
I think he's stronger than doing everything by committee, but he's not so strong that he's that he's gonna like Favreau said, if they both agree it's a good idea, they figure it's a pretty good idea,
and that's what I was just going to say, that the fact that they work together
a little bit.
The fact that they're able to work together shows that they don't just have tunnel vision. You know, it's not just my way or no way. You know, they're able to bounce each, and you know, and Favreau is another guy who gets it too. You know, he's shown that he definitely brings a lot to the Star Wars universe as well, and the fact that they're able to share ideas and come up with stuff in tandem, you know, it gives me even more hope moving forward.
I hope for their sakes that the content coming out is really good, because the backlash could turn on them in an instant.
Oh, it could. Yeah, that's the problem.
And it's so not worthy, you know. So I think they play it well by not doing fan service per se, but by making it obvious that they're fans. That's what fans want, is people who love what they love, to be applying that to their decisions and things like that. And when someone runs ahead where it seems more calculated, either for merchandise or for their own ideas being shoehorned in or something, that's when you start to lose a lot of fans, justified or not, you know. So I think these guys are political enough to navigate this realm, but if they make a misstep, it could get ugly. So but it's weird. Prequels and Clone Wars have their own fan base now that actually, you know, there's a, you know, I made fun of you for putting Revenge of the Sith number 4 with a bullet or 3 with a bullet or whatever.
3, on our first countdown.
There's a ton of people out there that is their favorite, or it's
it really
Empire
is,
and Revenge of the Sith is next. And
it's like right up there.
They just obsess on Clone Wars and stuff. So they've I guess all that paid off where they built an audience, you know, and realized they had to do something new and everything.
I mean, I don't know who would obsess over the Clone Wars.
And there's a lot of people who grew up with the flashy lightsaber style fights, and to them they just love lightsabers. They want to see more lightsaber fights. Anything without a lightsaber is not good enough for them, and I don't subscribe to that at all. The lightsaber is more symbolic to me, and I see the samurai origins where you don't draw your saber unless you're ready to kill somebody in a generation. Shouldn't be ready to kill someone at all times, you know. But anyway, there's a whole audience for that that's just wants more and more and more. So they're on a gold mine, you know, if they just play their cards right. But I pity anyone that the fans turn against. It's just not worth it. You might as well move to Guam or something.
Right.
Take one of those Bezos rockets into space or whatever. Take William Shatner and go up into space. Back.
Exactly.
Go with Elon Musk to Mars.
All right. Well, any final thoughts before we sign off on our 2021 holiday special?
Just excited for more Star Wars TV content, and hopefully can finish Clone Wars this year.
That would be great.
Clone Wars.
All right. So we're going to wrap up with 2, and then there were 2. We finally cut the dead weight, and now we've got like the real brain trust of the show going now. But anyway, we're just going to sign off with that. Thank you guys for watching. Give us a like, a subscribe, comments down below. You know the drill. And we've had a great 2021. Really enjoyed it. Really looking forward to an amazing 2022. And we'll see you on the other side. All right. Take care, guys. Bye.
It's Life Day. We'll find a way. Take a holiday. It's Life Day. We'll find a way and take a holiday special. It's Life Day.
It is pointless to resist.
Take a holiday special.
This will get day long remembered.
We'll find a way to take a holiday.
I have you now.
It's Life Day. We'll find a way to take a holiday special.
What have you done?
It's Life Day. We'll find a way. Take a holiday special. It's Life Day. We'll find a way. Take a holiday special. Something like that.
I love it.
I was going to try to get you all to sing along, but
That was perfect.
Come on, Gundark, take the next verse.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on.